So recently, Wesley Huff and Billy Carson had a debate, and the debate has since gone viral. The debate wasn't even that crazy. Like it was Wesley challenged Billy on a few things about the Bible, and Billy was clearly like losing the whole time. But really, what made this debate go viral is that after the debate, Billy told his friend, the guy that recorded the debate at his house, that he couldn't release the footage. Probably because he knew that he didn't perform that well. Anyways, the footage ended up like still getting out, and now Billy is basically suing everybody involved, including Wes, including his friend that recorded it, and even the editor. The friend paid an editor to edit the footage. That guy's getting sued too. What's funny is that if Billy would have just left this alone, the debate would have just kind of gone under the surface. Like not a lot of people would have paid attention to this, but now everybody is paying attention to it. Like everyone wants to see what happened. Now there have been a few videos like summarizing the big points throughout the debate, but I haven't seen anyone focus on this particular portion. So in this section of the debate we're about to watch, Billy challenges Wes where he's getting the idea from that God is a male. And Wes utterly decimated Billy in this section. And I want to highlight it. There's a few reasons I want to highlight this, but let's go ahead and just start watching it.
In your version of what you believe in, you keep saying that God's a he.
Yep.
And so where do you get that from?
Yep.
Throughout both the Hebrew Old Testament and the Greek New Testament, you have the masculine singular pronoun used for God.
And why is God a man? Where's the evidence of this?
Well, God isn't a man. See, within historical Christianity, we don't believe that God has a gender. However, the way that he has decided to reveal himself is through the masculine plural, and then ultimately by becoming a human in the person of Jesus Christ. So we don't believe that God has a gender. In fact, the fact that God creates humanity in his image and he creates them male and female, those are two aspects of the image of God. And so that's the completeness. So historical Christianity has never argued that God is gendered. Jesus is gendered in the sense that during the incarnation, he becomes a human man, but he's still fully man and fully God. But God is spirit, and right, as the scripture says, we worship him in spirit and in truth. But nobody's arguing that. What's that? Sorry.
That always blows my mind.
God is the same all the time, right? He's always good. It's always God is all the same all the time, right?
Yeah, but we do see that in scripture, God has revealed himself through the masculine plural, and there are aspects of God's character that we see within scripture that do actually communicate. Jesus says that he longs to gather Israel like a mother hen collects her chicks. So we see aspects of, the feminine of God, not meaning that God is feminine, but that the image of God reflects both the masculine and the feminine. And that's why when, the two become one flesh, there's a uniting of that reflects the image of God as well within the covenant of marriage.
Brilliant point so far. So let me just kind of summarize where we've been, okay? So Billy is asking, why do you think, where's the evidence that God is a male? And what Wes is saying in response is, well, Christians have always thought that God is spirit. God is not male or female, and we're actually going to look at some church fathers and also some newer church documents that reveal basically the same belief in the Christian church. So yeah, Wes is completely on point here so far, and I honestly don't know why this was even a question for Billy. Like Christians have been talking about this, thinking about this for a very long time. He claims that if you watch any of other Billy's other stuff, he claims that he does this really deep research, right? He'll go to different countries and research these different belief systems and stuff. But it seems like based on this is one of the reasons why I chose this clip. Based on this, seems like what he does in his research is kind of just superficially look at the beliefs in question. He doesn't really go that deep, because if you went deep, you would see that Christians, like Wes is pointing out here, Christians for years, and we're going to look at evidence of this, but Christians have been saying this forever. So yeah, but let's continue the debate.
The feminine of God, not meaning that God is feminine, but that the image of God reflects both the masculine and the feminine. And that's why when, the two become one flesh, there's a uniting of that reflects the image of God as well within the covenant of marriage.
Do you actually believe that the majority of Christians really believe that God is not masculine, that God has both aspects?
It's irrelevant what the majority of Christians believe.
How many would tell you that God's not a man. They don't
like that. Why is he even talking about that? Why is he asking the question? Is that what the majority of Christians believe? What Wes points out is that, like, why is it even relevant? Yeah, it's just, it blows my mind. Like, why do people's minds go to these places? I don't know.
They've never been taught this.
Well, I was taught it growing up. I was taught it in when I was a child, when I went to seminary, when I went to Bible college. I was taught it in graduate school. I would say I would say a few things to that. I would say, in one sense, it's irrelevant what the majority of Christians believe, because what historical biblical Christianity articulates is what they should believe. There are Christians who run around saying all sorts of things that are not in conformity to biblical, historical, Orthodox Christianity. Right. And they shouldn't believe that, because it's irrelevant. And so if one Christian believes something that is not in line with biblical Christianity, I mean, that's on them. So God is not gendered, but he does express through inspired scripture the masculine the masculine pronoun.
That's pretty convenient. I mean, for an all-knowing, all-loving God to understand that human beings were going to take that and abuse it to put their boot on the neck of women for eons. It's pretty interesting. Also, I'm trying to understand.
Yeah, I mean, so hold on. Let me speak to that, because it is interesting that.
Quick, guys, I have to.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so what I want to do at this point is talk about an early church father. His name is Gregory of Nyssa. So this guy he was born in 335 and died in 394, and he wrote this book called On the Making of Man. And in chapter 16, paragraph 14, he says this: he devised for his image the distinction of male and female, which has no reference to the divine archetype, but, as we have said, is an approximation to the less rational nature. So, I mean, the important part here is he devised his image, the distinction of male and female, which is sort of what Wes was talking about there, is that we actually find both aspects in the divine nature. But he says, which has no reference to the divine archetype. So basically, the divine essence is not male or female. So what we have here is an early church father who is basically articulating the same thing that Wes was saying in response to Billy, that this is a belief that goes back to the early church. Like, we knew from way long ago that God is spirit and is therefore incorporeal, does not have a body, therefore does not have reproductive organs, therefore is not male nor female. But we also have contemporary church documents, like in the Catechism, in paragraph 370, it says, "In no way is God in man's image. He is neither man nor woman. God is pure spirit, in which there is no place for the difference between the sexes. But the respective perfections of man and woman reflect something of the infinite perfection of God, those of a mother and those of a father and husband." So this same exact thing that Wes was saying is also articulated in the Catechism of the Catholic Church, which was written in 1992. Now, what's also cool is that Wes is going to be joining me on Capturing Christianity with Avery from God Logic to talk about the debate with Billy and a lot of other things, some new things that you guys haven't heard yet. So go click on that video right here. Go watch it. I'll see you guys over there.